I was gonna read a couple more poems. Um, so one's from probably a year or two ago, and the other one's fairly new. Um, so I'll read the first one, which is called Military Banking Media, and then the other one's called The First Word. So I'll read the first one and then kind of maybe talk about it a little bit. It's okay. Military banking media, democratic slave, dictator hates, I'll never go anywhere, dragon and snake, raised to heaven, water flows, perilous star, murderer, you have gold, steal the gold, severe crime, civilize the border, carry out the job, became criminal, combat the border, the mountain benevolent, the water intelligent. If you look, you see, I will never leave. So that one, I think I was starting to get back into Taoism and all that sort of stuff. So I think that was more talking about this perilous star. There's a star called Tianping, sorry, and basically that's supposed to be a star that can kind of like, it's in a divination. It can kind of like it has these kind of characteristics, but I sort of was taking kind of like stuff out of what I've been reading or hearing about, and then putting it into a poem. So it's kind of disjointed in a way. Like it's very much like the rhythm of it's just like, like democratic slave, dictator hates. So it's very like boom, 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 boom. But yeah, so that was something fairly new, but also it has political connotations as well. You know, so so some of the things that are obviously very Taoist are like the mountain benevolent, the water intelligent, things like that, and combat the border like Tian Peng can be like, you know, it can be a star that you can, like, you can't trust it if it's near you, but you can send it to the border, and then if you send it to the border, it's sort of like it'll do a better job than if you have it next to you, because it's so kind of like it can turn on you if you like. So, but anyway, so that was that one. And then I wrote a poem recently called The First Word. I think this is probably a little bit more like it's not as disjointed as the other one. It's okay. The first word. First there was the word. It was scrawled, crowed. Don't be the first, they say. Gentile, goy, rare, very rare. The word became something in them. The word will transmute. Will clay turn itself into a sculpture? Will words fashion, mode, style, becoming flesh, soma? Yet words need writers. No wonder the world was written. There needed to be tools. Something had to be. Words are not vacuous, empty, hollow, mindless, inanity, creation. Yet things seem to come into existence. I'm sure I'm here. It was so simple. A dinosaur wrote a book. God wrote life, not books. That was why we had potential, voltage, electrical potential. God wrote everything. God never stopped writing. The procedure was to create meaning, to create creation, to write even though words were first, words were present, beginning. Who will have the last conclusion when words run empty and the first becomes the last, when all firsts are somewhere past? That means the first never ends. So yeah, just kind of like, that one's more about the ridiculousness of kind of meaning. Like, you know, we sort of say, you know, there's some sort of beginning, and it's like, you know, when do things ever begin or end? You know what I mean? In a way, like, you might fill things with meaning. Like, you might say, like, oh, this has a meaning, or this doesn't have a meaning, or, but at the end of the day, things have potential, and whether it was God who wrote the first word, or, you know, whatever created God, or, you know, whatever created whatever, like, it's like, things just seem to come into existence anyway, and they're there. You can't say how they started or how they finished, or you can only really guess. Like, so I guess in a way, when you start writing, or I find when I start writing, I feel like, what am I actually doing? You know what I mean? Like, what do words actually do other than create this sort of false sense of conclusions and beginnings and endings, and movements and flows and potentials and all this sort of stuff? It's like, it's just, but not to say that everything's, like to say that everything's meaningless, but it's just like, yeah, like, just words tend to throw that up for me. Like, they say, words tend to be like, in a way, saying to me, well, you're just in this space, in this place, trying to make something, you know, and there's things to, you know, ruminate on. But it's like, yeah, so I'm trying to like play around with that idea of like, you know, there's inanity, but then there's creation. So, but it just always fascinates me, and I'm like, so I thought I'd write that one, and yeah, whether it makes any sense or not, but it kind of looks as though I'm sort of saying, you know, God wrote everything, but it's like, well, at the same time, I don't know, like, I don't know who wrote what and what's actually, you know, potentially possible or not. I mean, I know that obviously the universe is here and we're in it, but it's like, you know, yeah. But that's the beauty of writing as well, like the fact that you can kind of, you know, find connections, you know what I mean? So yeah, okay.